I'm on the subway a couple weeks ago, and there's a woman there, and she said to me, "I know you." Well, then I'm trying to think, where does she know me from? We were on the same range. Range means a jail unit. Videoing me being arrested is fine, but videoing an actual person going in is a no-no.
And how long has she been in jail? I think you've added it all up. It must be close to 10 years.
She's been in jail longer than Karla Homolka.
Would you say jail is worth what you're doing?
I hear that question all the time, is it worth it? Everyone who without lawful excuse disobeys a lawful order made by a court of justice or by a person or body of persons authorized by any act to make the order is expressly provided for by law guilty of an indictable offense and liable to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 2 years, or an offense punishable on summary conviction.
Why are you here at the police station? We're here because we were told that this was the police station that Linda's being brought to today. So we just felt that if Linda's there's always a bit of a buzz. And I thought for the sake of secretaries, receptionists, other police officers, that they might possibly see the pictures and they'll understand a little more of why Linda does what she does.
What are the reactions that you get to these signs?
Total range. From "thank you for being here, this is so wonderful, I want my kids to see this," to "you're disgusting and you're evil and you have no right to be here. This should have happened to you." I've had that said to me today. So.
That should have happened to you?
Yes, for being here and being nasty and telling the truth.
Do you know what happened to Linda today?
She was arrested at the Morgenthaler mortuary.
Why was that?
She had a sign on her.
Sign of a born baby, and her question is, "Why, Mom? I have so much love to give." That's all she says.
We pray that today's activity is not just protest for protest's sake, but that there may actually be an intervention where the child is spared. Be with Linda, give her your spirit, and have that your will might be done. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. And you had one abortion.
Yes.
And it's very obvious that you have significant regret.
Yeah, I had written an article, and I called the article "Coming to Terms." When you realize you have no graveyard to go to mourn your child. When you wonder what happened to the body of my child. I guess in my mind I was hoping to find out, was it a boy, was it a girl? And I said to God, "Lord, why couldn't you have made me a Christian 5 years ago? Why now? If I had become a Christian then, my baby wouldn't have died." And I remember the Lord putting on my mind, like, "You've taken your child. I gave mine." It's no longer the idea that I'm feeling sorry for what happened to me. I'm feeling sorry for what I've done to God.
Now we can discern the chilling, silent scream on the face of this child who is now facing imminent extinction. My name is Bernard N. Nathanson. I'm a physician.
And so we're having a pro-life night at my church, and we're seeing the video, the silent scream. And at one point he said, the body is often sucked off and the head remains in. And he says, then the head is crushed. And I'm saying, my child was 13 weeks. My baby's head was crushed to pieces. That, for me, was the galvanizing point.
How many police officers were there to arrest Linda today?
I would say half a dozen.
Why so many?
She's a pretty tough-looking old lady.
Is she dangerous?
It must be. Her message is very dangerous. Her message is so threatening to people who are powerful and do not want to know truth.
This is too much freedom. I'd asked Jim, what should I speak on? He says, tell them what you do.
Do you, from time to time, think that you've been abandoned, that the fight is a little lonely?
Well, I wouldn't say the fight is lonely. I would say the fight is long. That the deeper abortion gets trenched into our society, the more difficult it will be to get it out. Abortion is no form of medicine. A man performing abortions is no kind of doctor. But when we begin to dress a killer up in a white coat and then pay him out of government money, the law is meant to direct people on what is proper good behavior. And this really muddies the water. And then for the government to pretend the injunction is anything other than stifling pro-life activity is a red herring.
How do you approach protesting? How do you prepare yourself? What are you thinking? What's going through your mind?
Well, let's do it chronologically and go back to one of my first arrests. We had 21 of us praying in a circle on one side of the alley behind the abortion clinic. So we were not even talking to any of the women going in. That venue was simply to go there to pray. And at trial, the judge said, maybe some woman would have seen you praying, know you disapproved of her having an abortion, and that would have influenced her not to have it, and that would have hurt the clinic's financial interest. Our lawyer at the end smacked the little file down on the table and said, when hoping and praying become criminal acts, because there was no interaction. The Bible talks about despisers of governments. We believe that we have the highest respect for the law. We're not there despising governments. The injunction actually says that when you women are there counseling people, the abortion clinic is losing customers and it's hurting their assets. I mean, that boggles my mind. Since when is our government into the commercialization of killing?
She's courageous. She's got more guts than I've got. I didn't stand over there with her this morning.
She identifies with the unborn and tries to plead their cause in the only way that they can plead. Voiceless.
Does anything good come out of being in jail for her?
Oh, definitely. I've been in jail with her. She runs her own ministry in the jail.
The women in jail, many of them I've known for 20 years. 85% of them are involved with drugs or prostitution. And that, by nature, makes it a revolving door for them. So when I see them back in, I treat them as my daughters. I call them my girls.
When you're first put in prison, you're put into a maximum security. So they ask her, would you like to move from maximum security to minimum? And she always refuses to sign the papers because when the women come in, they go immediately to maximum security, and these women could potentially be pregnant. That is her opportunity to talk to them to save these babies who could potentially be aborted.
Well, often, I do Bible study with the girls. And I raised the question, what do you think the worst sin possible is? And of course they bring up murder. And I remind them, no, the Bible clearly says there is forgiveness, there's a way back. And there's women that have told me, well, I've had an abortion. And I tell them, you can ask God for forgiveness. That's what he shed his blood on the cross for. And you can tell God you love your baby and you miss your baby. You can name your child. And when you start talking that way to them, then you see the tears come down their face. Do you know what? I was in college. I aborted my child. You'll go on and get your degree, but you can never go back and get your child. You can have this baby and go back and get your degree. So have it all. Don't cheat yourself out of life. Say someone lost their job or someone was sick. You could think of 100 reasons why it would make it a more difficult time. But there's never no right time, right place, and right way to kill a baby.
Well, you know, she had an abortion herself, so she knows the traumatic effect of that.
There was a Filipino girl was so depressed that we took her to a psychiatrist, and he was telling her that the depression wouldn't get easier, it would get worse. When I was at the hospital, when she delivered the baby, the first thing she said to me is, Linda, come see the baby. She said, can you imagine if I aborted? It would be this baby that was aborted. We were the lucky ones that were born, and we need to be a voice for those that are being denied that right. Yeah. So if someone said, really, why are you here? Because I'm a human being, and they're a human being.